You can't out-argue a toxic person. You just can't reason with them. You know that feeling, right? Every single one of these conversations leaves you feeling completely exhausted, while they seem energized. But there is one thing they absolutely cannot survive, and that's being ignored. So, if logic doesn't work and arguing just feeds them, how do you win? How do you actually break that cycle? The strategy is called the gray rock method, and it works because it completely flips the script. The way you win is by becoming boring. Now, to really get why this is so powerful, you have to understand the real game that's being played here. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's about what they're trying to get from you. And that thing has a name. It's called narcissistic supply. You see, these people don't engage with you to understand you. They engage to get a reaction. Your anger, your tears, your frustration, any of that emotional energy is their fuel. Your anger, that's supply. Your tears, that's supply too. And you know that really detailed logical explanation you give for why they're wrong? Oh, that is premium supply. So the strategy is simple. You cut off the supply. You become a gray rock. And what does that mean exactly? It means you stop arguing, you stop defending, you stop explaining, you just become boring and totally unreactive. And here's why this works. Narcissists are basically hardwired to hunt for drama, to hunt for that supply. So when you give them absolutely nothing, you become a dead end. There's no drama to be had, no supply to get, and eventually, they have to go look somewhere else. So what does this actually look like in a real conversation? Let's walk through a few common scenarios so you can see exactly how it's done. So they say something like, "You're so sensitive." The normal response, right, is to jump in and defend. That's not true, I'm not. But the gray rock response? Just, okay. And then you walk away. Or if they demand, "Why didn't you call me back?" Instead of that long story about work and traffic, you just say, "I was busy." And that's it. Nothing more. Now, this next part is so important. When you first start doing this, you have to be ready for a backlash. It will almost certainly get worse before it gets better. There's a term for this in psychology. It's called an extinction burst. Think about it. When the button they've always pushed to get a reaction from you suddenly stops working, they don't just give up. They push it harder. They'll get louder, angrier, maybe even more dramatic. They're testing to see if the old tactics still work. So your one and only job is to stay boring all the way through that burst. Don't engage. Don't explain why you're being quiet. Consistency is absolutely everything here. And listen, this is the most critical part of this whole thing. If you react, even once, you've just taught them that all they have to do is escalate to get what they want. You literally reset the clock. So what do you do if you can't go full gray rock? Like maybe it's a coworker or a family member you have to see. In those cases, you can use something called medium chill. It's where you're polite but boring. You answer questions with facts, not feelings. So if they ask, "What have you been up to?" you can just say, "Oh, not much. Work's been busy. How about you?" You give them zero personal ammunition and you redirect the conversation right away. And let's be crystal clear about something. The gray rock method is a tool. It is not a cure-all. It works for things like manipulation, guilt trips, and constant drama. It does not, however, replace safety plans, legal help, or therapy in situations involving any kind of abuse. Okay, let's finish up by reframing this whole idea. We really need to shift our perspective here, from seeing this as a passive act to seeing it as an incredibly powerful, strategic move. We're taught that silence means weakness, or that it means you agree with them. But in these specific dynamics, that's just not true. Against a toxic person, silence is strategic. Blandness is powerful. Withdrawing their access to your emotions is the ultimate boundary. You're not being weak, you're being smart. And when you stick with this, one of three things usually happens. 1, they get bored and move on to an easier target. 2, they learn to keep their distance and just stop provoking you. Or 3, they escalate so much that you have a very clear and justifiable reason to cut contact for good. Because that's the real truth of it all. When it comes to these interactions, the only way you can actually win is to just stop playing their game. You're not going to destroy their hold on you by outsmarting them or having the perfect comeback. You're going to do it by becoming so profoundly uninteresting that there's simply nothing left for them to hold on to. The less you react, the less power they have. Please remember that. Your silence is not weakness, it is strategy.